What if fear wasn't a monster hiding under your bed, but a mask you've been wearing for years? What if every hesitation, every missed opportunity, and every silent retreat wasn't because you weren't ready, but because fear whispered, wait, and you listened? What if the life you dream about isn't far? It's just on the other side of a belief that no longer belongs to you. This isn't just a video. This is the moment you interrupt the pattern. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Because here on Napoleon Hill Motivation, we don't sit back and hope. We train, we reprogram, we rise with a purpose and repeat with fire. Hit subscribe. Let this message meet you every day until the old self is outgrown and replaced. I'm going to be walking with you step by step, but the decision to move belongs to you. Fear is not something you were born with. You weren't born afraid to speak. You weren't born afraid to try. Every fear you now carry was installed, taught, repeated, and rehearsed. The only fears hardwired into your nervous system at birth were the fear of falling and the fear of loud noise. Everything else, learned. And if fear can be learned, it can be unlearned. History proves this. Edison failed 10,000 times before he got it right, but he never feared failure. Carnegie started in poverty, surrounded by doubt, but acted as if success was inevitable. Ford, mocked for his ideas, silenced critics, not with arguments, but with factories. They didn't remove fear, they moved anyway, and in doing so, they stripped it of power. This isn't about becoming fearless. It's about becoming immune to fear's permission slip. And now, it's your turn. Name the enemy. You cannot defeat what you refuse to define. That's why the first act in removing fear forever is to name it. You must expose it, confront it, stare it down. Because fear doesn't thrive in danger, it thrives in vagueness. It feeds on avoidance. It grows in silence. And that's exactly why most people lose. They don't fear something, they fear everything. They fear failure, but they never define what failure actually means. They fear judgment, but they never specify who's judging or why it even matters. They walk through life clouded by a fog of feelings with no names, no borders, no logic. And so fear controls them without ever being questioned. But you're about to flip the script. Right now, ask yourself, what is it specifically that I'm afraid of? Don't say, I'm scared to fail. No, say, I fear launching my idea because I think people will laugh at me. I fear quitting my job because I might not earn enough. I fear rejection because it confirms what I secretly believe about myself. Now we're getting somewhere. Now fear has a face. Now you have something to strike. This is where transformation begins, because once you put a name to the fear, you take away its invisibility, and anything visible can be challenged. Anything identified can be tracked. Anything named can be stripped of power. You move it from the subconscious shadows to the conscious stage, and the moment fear steps into the light, it begins to die. Do you want to know how fear maintains its grip? By hiding behind logic. It doesn't shout, it whispers, it disguises itself as caution, as reason, as common sense. It says, be realistic. It says, wait until you're more prepared. It says, what if they don't like you? But none of these are truths. They are unexamined thoughts, and thoughts can be rewired. You must now become a surgeon of your own mind. Grab a sheet of paper and write down 3 fears. Don't filter, don't make them sound noble, get brutally honest, and beside each one, write the belief that is allowing it to exist. Example, fear. I fear putting my voice out on video. Belief people will think I'm arrogant or not good enough. Counterattack. Their opinion does not build my life, my actions do. This is no longer mental, this is now a battle plan. The greatest enemy you'll ever face is not out there. It's the untrained voice inside you, and you've let it speak unchallenged for too long. Now you answer back. Every fear has a root, and every root can be severed. Fear of failure, rooted in identity. Fear of judgment, rooted in false validation. Fear of uncertainty, rooted in lack of preparation or trust. You must trace it back, follow the signal to its source. And here's the truth. Most of your fears didn't start with you. They were borrowed from parents who worried too much, from teachers who punished mistakes, from friends who feared their own ambition and passed their hesitation on to you. You didn't ask for them, but you repeated them. And repetition builds belief, whether it serves you or destroys you. But today, you interrupt that loop. You declare, this belief ends with me, because if fear is just a thought wrapped in emotion, then it's not truth. It's just data. And if it's data, you can reprogram it. Fear is not a law. It's not gravity. It's not physics. It's a software glitch in your mental operating system, and you now have the power to override it. Let me tell you what happens when you don't name your fear. It becomes the architect of your life. It designs your decisions. And that's what this first pillar is all about. Reclaiming the mental territory fear has squatted on for years, without rent, without permission, without resistance. This is not abstract. This is war. And your battlefield is thought. So let me be clear. You don't wait for fear to pass. You don't hope it softens. You confront it with words. You drag it into the light. You define it so clearly it can no longer hide in your subconscious. And once you've done that, you install a new command. Every time fear whispers, you answer back with decision. Every time hesitation rises, you name the lie beneath it. Every time your mind says, wait, you say, I'm already moving. Let this become your new ritual. Name the fear. Name the lie it's built on. Name the truth that overrides it. Speak it daily, loudly, with force, until the truth becomes heavier than the fear ever was. Let me close this pillar with a declaration, one that I want you to memorize, speak aloud, and make your new response. I do not obey fear. I name it. I confront it. I move anyway. I am the author of my thoughts, not the prisoner of my emotion. Say it again, then write it, then repeat it daily. This is the beginning, not of courage, but of clarity. And clarity destroys fear faster than force ever could. Train through repetition. Repetition is not boring. Repetition is not optional. Repetition is the master key to transformation. Let me be clear. You will never remove fear by thinking about it once, naming it once, or confronting it once. The mind doesn't change in a single moment. It changes through relentless reinforcement. The subconscious does not obey logic. It obeys frequency. It obeys emotion. It obeys repetition. And that is why most people stay stuck. Not because they lack the desire, but because they lack the discipline to repeat the truth long enough for it to override the lie. You don't believe you're not good enough because it's true. You believe it because you've rehearsed it for years. You don't believe success is out of reach because of facts. You believe it because someone said it once, and you repeated it to yourself 10,000 times. That's how fear is installed, through emotional repetition. So if fear is installed through repetition, then confidence can be installed the same way. This is the pillar where you train your subconscious like a warrior. You begin to use the very weapon fear used against you, repetition, and turn it into your sword. Let me give you the law of the subconscious. It cannot filter. It does not say, wait, this isn't true. It simply accepts what's spoken with intensity and frequency. It doesn't care if it's logic or lies. Whatever is repeated with emotion becomes real, not just mentally, but neurologically, biologically, behaviorally. Repetition forms pathways, and those pathways form patterns, and those patterns become personality. That's why you must become obsessed with what you repeat. If you say, I'm always nervous before speaking, if you say, I'm just not that kind of person, if you say, I never get opportunities, then guess what? You are not describing your life. You are programming it. You are installing those beliefs into the deepest part of your brain, the part that determines your reactions before you even think, and it will obey you. It will shut your mouth before you speak. It will freeze your hands before you act, not because it hates you, but because you trained it to. You repeated weakness, and so your mind became weak, but now we reverse it. Now you speak new commands. Now you repeat new orders. Now you train your subconscious to obey a different voice, the voice of the identity you are building. Let's get tactical. Starting today, you will speak these lines out loud every morning and every night, not as wishes, but as commands. I move before fear speaks. I act in the presence of doubt. I train my mind to obey vision, not emotion. I am building an identity fear cannot recognize. I do not wait to feel ready. I train until I am. These are not affirmations. These are instructions. These are rewiring sequences. These are the new operating code you're feeding to the only machine that matters, your subconscious mind. Say them with fire. Say them like your life depends on it, because it does. And here's why this works. The subconscious believes what it hears most often and most emotionally. It does not care if it's a lie. It cares if it's repeated. It will take your words, and make them your default setting. That's why you don't say, I want to be confident. You say, I am confident. You don't say, I hope I take action. You say, I act decisively. When you say, I am, you claim identity. And identity is the most powerful force in your brain. You will not act beyond who you believe you are. And that's why we repeat identity daily until your body starts to move as if it's true, even before your brain catches up. And it will feel weird at first. You will say, I act with boldness while still shaking. You will say, I am disciplined while missing days. But keep speaking, keep repeating, because you are not waiting for truth to appear. You are installing it in advance. You are not faking it. You are training it. Think of the gym. You don't wait until you're strong to lift weights. You lift weights until you're strong. You don't wait until you feel brave to act. You act until you are brave. Action plus repetition equals transformation. Let me tell you how Carnegie trained his men. He made them speak their objectives aloud every single morning. He instructed Charles Schwab to stand in front of a mirror and declare, I am the most valuable man in Carnegie Steel. Not because it was true yet, but because it would become true through repetition. That one phrase, spoken with conviction daily, pulled opportunity toward him like gravity. This is not hype. This is mental strategy. This is how all great men rewired their subconscious. From Ford to Edison, from Lincoln to Mandela, they didn't rely on inspiration. They relied on repetition. They spoke vision until it became fact. And so will you. So here's your assignment. 1, write your new command statements. Start with I am or I do. Make them present tense, personal, and powerful. 2, speak them aloud every morning before you check your phone, every night before you close your eyes. 3, say them during resistance, especially when fear rises. That's when your subconscious is most listening. 4, visualize as you speak. See the version of yourself living those words. See your spine straighten. See your eyes lock in. See your feet moving forward. 5, repeat daily. No excuses, no skipping, no half-hearted whispering. Say it with decision. Repetition without emotion is weak. Repetition with fire, that's how you reprogram your future. Let me give you a final example. You've heard the phrase, fake it till you make it. That's not what we do here. We train it until it's true. We repeat it until the old software crashes. We install truth until the subconscious can't tell the difference between who you were and who you've decided to become. Say this right now, out loud. I'm not my fear. I am not my past. I'm not the hesitation I used to obey. I speak truth. I install power. I act before fear speaks. Now say it again, louder. Let your nervous system feel it. Let your spine absorb it. Let your subconscious record it. Because this is the new rhythm of your life. Repetition is not optional. It is the tool that built your fears, and it will be the sword that destroys them. Act before permission. You will never feel fully ready, and that's the trap fear sets. It tells you to wait. Wait until the timing is right. Wait until the plan is perfect. Wait until you're more experienced, more supported, more confident. But here's the truth. You must install now and never forget. The longer you wait, the louder fear gets. The longer you delay, the deeper fear roots itself. And the only way to silence it is to act in its presence, not after it fades, not after it's convenient, while it's screaming. This is the third pillar. Act before permission. Fear thrives on hesitation. It feeds on the pause. Every second you stand still, it gains ground. Every moment you wait for a sign, it multiplies in your bloodstream. But the instant you move, even with trembling hands, fear begins to retreat. Action is the weapon fear cannot survive. Look back at history. Not one revolution, not one invention, not one legacy was born out of comfort. Every builder, every pioneer, every legend moved while afraid. They made the call. They wrote the book. They launched the idea. Not because they were unafraid, but because they no longer needed permission from fear to move. Henry Ford was told his engine was impossible. He built it anyway. Edison failed 10,000 times. He tested again. Lincoln led a divided nation while every voice screamed, unfit. He acted daily, not from confidence, but from conviction. They understood this principle. Motion rewrites emotion. You don't wait to feel certain. You move until certainty builds. You don't wait to feel bold. You act until boldness becomes your default. This is not fake it. This is forge it. Let's break it down. The human nervous system is shaped by experience. Every time you act in the presence of fear, you prove to your brain that fear is survivable. And your system learns, I moved and I didn't die. I spoke and I wasn't destroyed. I launched and the world didn't collapse. That's how you rewire your body to act before the emotion tries to hold you hostage. Most people think action comes after confidence. Wrong. Confidence comes after action. Action is what forges the identity you've been waiting to earn, but you don't earn boldness. You practice it. Think about it. What if the hesitation you're calling strategy is actually fear in disguise? What if your research is just procrastination with a better name? What if the time you spend planning is really just delaying the moment you must leap? You must now develop a new discipline. Move before your mind gets a vote. Move while your knees shake. Move before the fear finishes its sentence. Move so fast that fear doesn't have time to argue. You are not looking for certainty. You are becoming it. And here's where most men fail. They believe the whisper of fear more than the truth of their vision. And so they hesitate, they second guess, they overthink. But here's a law you must engrave in your mind. Hesitation is the seed of regret. Action is the antidote to fear. Repeat that. Say it aloud. Hesitation is the seed of regret. Action is the antidote to fear. Now let's get practical. Every single day, you must do one thing that frightens you. One small act of bravery. It doesn't have to be big. Make the call, post the video, pitch the offer, have the conversation, say the truth you've been holding back. It's not about scale, it's about pattern interruption. You are teaching your nervous system that hesitation is no longer welcome in your operating system. And here's the magic. Every time you do what you once avoided, you vote for the future you. You cast a ballot for the identity you're building. You confirm through action that fear no longer gets to drive the car. Let me give you the most dangerous lie fear will ever tell you. You'll be ready later. No, you won't. Not unless you move now. Because waiting does not create readiness. It creates rot. It corrodes your belief. It paralyzes your instinct. It sterilizes your will. Every empire that was built while afraid. Every voice that changed the world spoke with a lump in the throat. Every builder, every revolutionary, every icon acted before permission. So must you. From this day forward, your new rule is this. Move before the mind negotiates. When fear says, wait, you move. When doubt says stop, you step forward. When comfort says pause, you lean in. Because that's where your power is. Not in the delay, but in the decision. Declare this now and let it become your code. I act before I feel ready. I do not wait for permission. I train my body to move when fear rises. I interrupt hesitation with motion. I become decisive by being decisive. Say it again, loudly, with breath, because the old you hesitated, the old you overthought, the old you asked fear for approval, but that man is gone. That woman is no longer in control. Now, when fear knocks, it finds the door already open and no one home, because you've already moved. You've already taken the first step, and one step becomes two, and two becomes momentum. And momentum makes fear irrelevant. This is the rhythm now. Every single day, do before you feel ready. Every single day, move before the emotion builds. Every single day, train motion as your default state. And soon, fear will stop speaking. Not because it's gone, but because you stopped listening. Burn the bridge. There comes a moment in every journey where hesitation is no longer your enemy. Option is, too many people fail not because they lack talent, drive, or opportunity. They fail because they give themselves a way out, a plan B, a retreat. And as long as a retreat exists, your mind will find it. This is the fourth pillar. Burn the bridge. You cannot build a future with one foot in the past. You cannot rise to your potential while keeping a lifeline to your excuses. You cannot move with conviction while carrying the weight of your just in case backup plan. Here's the brutal truth. The mind seeks escape when pressure rises. It looks for softness when sacrifice is required. And if it knows there's a door out, it will use it. Burn the door, burn the plan B, burn the approval you're still waiting for. Burn the illusion that you'll try until it gets too hard. Burn the exit you've been secretly keeping in your back pocket, because no great life was ever built with an escape route. History is littered with the broken dreams of talented people who simply kept too many doors open. Men who said, I'll try this path, but I'll keep this job just in case. Women who said, I'll chase this dream, but I won't go all in until I'm sure. They never found certainty because they never committed. Listen carefully. Commitment creates clarity. When you burn the bridge, your mind stops asking, what if it doesn't work? And starts asking, what must I do to make it work? It shifts from doubt to demand, from comfort to conquest. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. When Henry Ford committed to building the Model T, his engineers told him the V8 engine was impossible. They said it couldn't be done, the math didn't work, the design was flawed, Ford didn't blink, he didn't stall. He didn't say, let's rethink this. He said, build it anyway. Not because he had proof it would work, but because he had already burned the mental bridge back to doubt. He had no retreat, and that's what forced the breakthrough. You want to know when people discover their greatest power? When they remove every other option, when they decide this must happen and then remove the safety net. You don't get access to that level of clarity by dabbling. You get it by deciding. Let me say it another way. Most people fail not because they're wrong, but because they never went all in. They wanted the dream, but not the discomfort. They wanted greatness, but with the permission to quit when it hurt. And so their energy stayed divided. Their mind stayed distracted. Their will stayed diluted by the constant thought, if this doesn't work, I can always go back. And that single thought, that is the thought that kills destiny. Burn it. Do what the conquerors did, what the warriors did, what the empires did. Land on enemy shores and set your ships on fire. Not because you hate safety, but because you refuse to allow fear to make your decisions. And yes, it will terrify you. Yes, it will expose you. Yes, it will test every muscle of your resolve. But that pressure, that fire, that edge, that's what forges the next version of you. Because the you that still clings to options, that's the old you, the one who delays, the one who negotiates, the one who hopes but never commits. The new you, he decides, she declares. They eliminate everything that weakens their focus. Say this now. I eliminate the escape. I commit with no retreat. I burn the bridge behind me. Because forward is the only path. Say it again, then write it, then act like it's true, because that's how identity is forged. Let's go deeper. When you burn the bridge, your mind activates new levels of resourcefulness. Your brain says, we have no other option. We solve this. It finds solutions you would have never seen while straddling both sides. It unleashes power that stays hidden while doubt is still in the room. Burning the bridge isn't reckless. It's necessary. It doesn't mean being careless. It means being clear. It means defining your path in ink, not pencil. It means standing in the mirror and saying, this is who I am now. This is what I do. This is where I go, and I do not turn back. You must make it more painful to quit than to keep going. You must make the cost of retreat higher than the cost of risk. And you do that by eliminating comfort as an option. So let me ask you now, what bridge must you burn? What plan B is still hiding in your pocket? What fallback are you still entertaining in the quiet corners of your mind? What excuse have you left alive just in case you want to use it later? Find it, name it, destroy it. If you're still trying, you haven't committed. If you're still testing the waters, you haven't stepped in. And if you haven't stepped in fully, you haven't triggered the full power of identity. But once you do, once you burn the bridge, you become the version of yourself that doesn't retreat, that doesn't ask fear for advice, that doesn't spend energy managing doubt. You become focused, obsessed, unstoppable. Because now, forward isn't a preference, it's a necessity. Say this with me. I do not test, I decide, I do not wonder, I declare, I do not retreat, I remove retreat, I burn the bridge, and I walk forward permanently. Let those words become your law. Let them shape your choices, your posture, your tone. You weren't built to hover at the edge of your life. You weren't born to dance around your mission. You were created to claim the next version of you with fire in your eyes and zero tolerance for delay. So burn the bridge and watch how fast the world makes room for the man or woman who has no way back. Guard the environment. You are not just the product of your thoughts. You are the product of the atmosphere you breathe every single day, the people you allow in, the words you hear, the tone, the beliefs, the energy that surrounds you. This is the fifth pillar. Guard the environment. Fear is not just internal, it's contagious. It spreads in silence, It creeps in through conversations. It embeds itself in passive suggestions, offhanded comments, cautious glances, and unspoken doubts. And if you're not vigilant, you won't even realize you're inhaling poison until it's already infected your vision. Let's say it plainly. If you surround yourself with cowards, you will begin to shrink. If you surround yourself with doubters, hesitation becomes your default. If you listen to people who live small, safe, and stagnant lives, then growth will feel like betrayal. But if you walk with lions, belief becomes your baseline. If you train with builders, vision becomes natural. If you lock arms with warriors of thought, fear loses its voice, your mind is a fortress, and the people around you are either reinforcing the walls or drilling holes in the foundation. Let me be clear, you must audit your circle with the same intensity that you audit your thoughts. Ask yourself right now, who in my life makes me doubt? Who responds to my ambition with concern, not fire? Who waters down my vision in the name of realism? Who gets nervous when I talk about becoming more? These people are not your enemies, but they cannot hold power in your mental space, because whether they mean to or not, they are lowering your ceiling, and your vision is too urgent to be dimmed by their comfort. Now flip the question. Who inspires decisive action? Who calls out the next version of you? Who normalizes discomfort, risk, and relentless belief? Who speaks vision with their life, not just their lips? These are your people. You need to build a mastermind, a circle of aligned minds, a force field of elevated thinking, not yes men, not fans, but fire starters, people who live the standard you are rising to. This is what Carnegie did. This is what Schwab was part of. This is what every empire builder understood. Environment is not passive. It is engineering. If your current circle makes you play small, exit it. If your current routine keeps you in drift, replace it. If your current conversations revolve around fear, gossip, or safe opinions, silence them. You must become ruthless in protecting the air your mind breathes. Let me give you the law. Environment is stronger than will. You can have the most powerful intentions. But if you're surrounded by weakness, it will erode you. You can speak affirmations all day long. But if the voices around you speak fear, you'll unconsciously absorb it. Your subconscious does not filter by logic. It filters by frequency. And the most frequent voices around you will shape the tone inside you. So stop pretending you can outthink a toxic atmosphere. Change the atmosphere. This doesn't mean you become arrogant. It doesn't mean you cut people off with cruelty, but it does mean you elevate or eliminate. If someone in your life fuels growth, draw them closer. If someone drains belief, limit access. If someone encourages smallness, let your silence speak for you. This is not drama. This is design. You must construct a life where the wind is always at your back, not in your face. Let me give you a real example. When Carnegie built his steel empire, he surrounded himself with minds who didn't just believe in profit, but in possibility. He didn't want comfort. He wanted clarity. His meetings were not support groups. They were war councils, strategy, execution, vision. His people didn't flinch at fear. They laughed at it. That's what a high standard circle does. You want to grow? Then get around people who make your biggest ideas feel normal. You want to expand? Then sit at tables where boldness is expected, not applauded. You want to become unrecognizable in 6 months? Then speak your vision only to those who know what to do with belief. Here's a question to write down and answer tonight. Who are the 5 voices I hear most often? And are they shaping me into the version I've committed to become? Be honest. And once you see the truth, move, not emotionally, strategically. Start creating a new environment, one that calls you up, not pulls you down. Start now. Change your daily inputs. Stop letting passive media hijack your state. Replace gossip with growth, cut noise, choose clarity. Find a mentor, even digitally, someone who speaks the language of power. Build a ritual of connection. Share your goals only with those who believe in them. Leave the room when the talk turns to fear. You don't argue, you remove yourself. Because this isn't just about your peace, it's about your purpose. Fear multiplies in weak environments, but belief expands in aligned atmospheres. Say this out loud. I guard my environment like a fortress. I do not absorb doubt. I surround myself with clarity, vision, and action. My circle reflects my future, not my past. Say it again, because now you've seen what fear uses against you. It isn't always your thoughts. It's the voices that feed them. It's the company that makes playing small feel safe. It's the slow decay of greatness through proximity to mediocrity. Not anymore. From now on, you rise because you've re-engineered the ground you walk on. And when fear tries to enter your gates, it finds no air, no room, no access. Because the man or woman who guards the environment controls the evolution. Build the new identity. Fear doesn't respond to willpower. It doesn't vanish with effort. It disappears the moment you become someone it no longer recognizes. This is the final and most powerful pillar. Build the new identity. You can name the fear. You can speak truth over it. You can act while it screams and burn every retreat behind you. But if you don't change who you believe you are, fear will always find a way back in. Because fear knows the old you, the hesitant one, the one who paused before committing, the one who tiptoed around greatness, the one who needed signs, validation, and safety. But what if that person no longer existed? What if, starting today, you became someone new? You are not here to manage fear. You are here to become unrecognizable to it, to evolve so completely that it loses its grip. Not because it's gone, but because it can no longer speak your language. Let's define the core truth right now. You do not behave your way into identity. You identity your way into behavior. That's why this pillar is about declaring who you are until your actions follow by reflex. You must now create a new internal blueprint, not based on your past, not based on what you've done, but based on who you've decided to become. Because here's the secret. The mind doesn't obey vague encouragement. It obeys clear identity. It obeys what you say, what you repeat, and what you embody. If you want to become powerful, stop negotiating with fear and start building the self that doesn't need permission. Let me give it to you plainly. If you say, I am confident, you'll begin to act like someone who deserves to speak. If you say, I am decisive, hesitation will feel unnatural. If you say, I am disciplined, then inconsistency becomes identity betrayal. If you say, I do not wait, I move, your nervous system learns to prioritize motion over emotion. This is not fantasy. This is neuroplasticity. You are hardwiring a new operating system, and you must speak the new code every day. Start today. Write your identity script. Present tense, personal, permanent. Say it out loud, like it's law. I am a builder of momentum. I do not flinch under pressure. I act before I feel ready. I do not carry the past. I create the future. I'm immune to hesitation and bulletproof under pressure. I do not speak weakness. I declare identity. Now write it, place it where you can see it daily. Above your desk, on your mirror, in your phone wallpaper. Not as decoration, as installation. Every time you speak your identity with emotion, you are reconditioning your nervous system. You are installing who you want to be until your body begins to move as if it's already true. You're not pretending, you're training, because let's get this straight. No one becomes elite by accident. No world changer drifts into greatness. Henry Ford saw himself as an industrial visionary long before a single car rolled off the line. Thomas Edison declared himself the architect of light, while others were still mocking his failures. Abraham Lincoln visualized national unity while the country was literally tearing itself apart. They did not wait to feel worthy. They repeated their identity until the world adapted, and so must you. Let me say something you've been waiting to hear. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are not your hesitation, your trauma, or your delay. Those are echoes, not identity. But if you keep repeating them verbally or mentally, they will keep running your life. So stop rehearsing weakness, stop describing who you've been, and start constructing who you are becoming. Close your eyes. See the future version of you. What does he wear? How does she speak? What is his posture when walking into a room? What does her schedule look like? What thoughts repeat in his head? What risks does she no longer avoid? Hold that image. Now bring it here. Make that the blueprint, because you will never rise above the picture you have of yourself. Change the picture. Change the performance. Let's make it even simpler. Every act is a vote for your identity. Every repetition is a brick in the structure. Every declaration is a nail in the coffin of the old self. You want transformation? Then you must train it into existence. And here's the law. Identity is not claimed once. It's chosen daily. You must show up for it, speak it, move in alignment with it, even when it feels fake, especially when it feels uncomfortable, because discomfort is the gym of evolution, and you are training your mind to match your mission. Write this down and repeat it every morning. I do not move as the person I was. I move as the identity I am building. I act in alignment with the future. I speak from belief, not memory. I no longer seek permission. I move as the man fear cannot recognize. Let that become the boundary line between your past and your potential. This is not motivation. This is reconstruction. The most powerful force in the world is not talent, not strategy, not opportunity. It is identity. Because once you believe you are someone new, fear can't reach you, doubt can't delay you, and hesitation has no home. From now on, you do not wait. You do not wonder. You do not waver. You speak identity. You train action. You repeat with force. And you become the person your destiny has been waiting for. This is not where it ends. This is where it begins. You've just been handed the blueprint, 6 pillars that, when practiced daily, will make fear irrelevant. But blueprints don't build empires. Builders do. And now you build. Speak your new identity. Repeat your commands with fire. Take bold action before fear speaks. Burn the bridge. Guard your environment. Move like the version of you that fear cannot recognize. Not once, daily. Because repetition is transformation. And the man who repeats power becomes power. Hit subscribe now to Napoleon Hill Motivation. This is your environment. This is your arsenal. This is where identity is forged and fear is buried. Come back tomorrow, train again, speak again, act again, and then comment below. What fear did you confront today? Because this community is built not on talk, but on movement. You are not here to cope. You are here to command. And now the world will adjust to the version of you that no longer asks for permission. Forward now.